Well, hello everyone. I am Megan Braden-Perry, and I'm so excited to be here interviewing these two wonderful authoresses I have on my your right, my immediate left. I have Miss Addie Citchens, and then to her right, I have Miss Marti Dumas. So like I said, I'm born and raised in New Orleans, and I mostly write as a journalist. So I'm, on Bon Appetit and Washington Post and all that, but not anything about me. I'm here to interview my friends. So I think I'll just ask a question to everyone right now. So I looked at both of your books, and also those books are for sale after. They're going to have a nice book signing. You can get Addie's book, Dominion, over there. And then Ms. Dumas has 3 books over there for sale, 3 of her 16 printed books for sale. Yes, thank you. Yes, clap it up. Yes. Okay, so looking at both of y'all's books, I guess what I really want to ask is how has being a black woman, especially in New Orleans, how has that shaped your work? How has that shaped what you write, how you write, who you write for, all of that?
Absolutely. So Marti Dumas, and I'm a mom, a teacher, and a writer, born and raised in New Orleans, and currently living in New Orleans with my family. And being a black woman from New Orleans is, I think, probably just like super obvious in everything that I write, even when it's not New Orleans centered specifically. There is a vibe that New Orleans has that so many people want, but that I was born into, gratefully, that I think really like pushes through all of my books. So then my series that's like explicitly set in New Orleans is the Wild Seed Witch series. And it is about a New Orleans girl who wants to be a YouTuber, but her plans get messed up when she finds out she's a witch. And actually the thing that I love about, and it happens in New Orleans has its own magic that keeps popping up all over the place, including the magic of mistakes, which in this series is like a flower. So every time you have made a mistake with your magic, it like appears, it manifests as a flower or many flowers in the case of our poor main character. Like she was making a lot of mistakes left and right, like, as one does when one ends up being the main character of a story. However, the New Orleans-ness of the story, for me, really is always about family and tradition and the power of being able to see someone else's greatness even when they can't see it in themselves. And so then that really, it really permeates those books and probably all of the others in their own ways. Yeah.
Thank you, Marti. How about you, Addie?
I actually grew up in Mississippi, and I've been in New Orleans for the last 16 years. And I actually just wrote my exclusively set in New Orleans story that was in the New Yorker a couple of months ago. And I think it started off with me being from the Mississippi Delta and growing up in the church. There was a very musical aspect of growing up in the South, a very big connection to family and community in the ways that are positive and negative. It influences the way I write, how my sentences go, how my people act in stories. But New Orleans just added, living here so long, just added another layer to the musicality in my work. And New Orleans is a city that has like a vibe like almost no other. So it definitely influences, the power with which it frees me to be free in my work. And it has. New Orleans is Halloween all the time, Mardi Gras all the time, everything all the time. So you can be whoever you want. So you don't have to have those pretenses when you're in New Orleans, right?
Right. And so both of y'all mentioned, obviously y'all both mentioned magic and being free, especially being free as a black woman. I know a lot of us, like even just now when we were talking together, we see people who come up and they say, how can I do this? And then, Marti, you were explaining, that for you were a teacher and you said, how can I do this? And then with you, Addie, like I know all your mentors, and you see and you want to say, how can I do this? So how does it feel to know that you're now the person, both of y'all are now the person where someone says, how can I do that?
Right. So I'm going to give a long-winded answer because I'm a novelist and not a picture book writer. A lot of people are afraid of the matriarchy Just put that out there. Because they're thinking, oh, it's going to be patriarchy, but just with women on top, and we'll just be oppressing men. That's false. In the matriarchy, women, people, are looking out for themselves and their community, right? So they are looking out for the people who have need, and the people who need the most support are the people who get the most support. And that's what a matriarchy is, just heads up. And I think that my family was very matriarchal, not just that there was my grandmother who was like the undisputed head of the family, but also because she was always looking for what everyone needed, not just what she needed. When she had, that literally meant that everyone had. And that is how I feel. I feel so grateful to have any little iota of success because it helps me to be able to help other people. Like, it's very uncomfortable for me to think about it for myself, but it is not at all uncomfortable for me to think about how to help support and uplift other people, which is how every single one of my books has come to be. There's some child that I was like, this particular child needed this book, and that's how like the books came out. And so the same thing too, I will always talk to people about how my journey went. It's really difficult to replicate anybody's journey to being an author, but I'm totally happy always to help talk people through their journey to becoming an author. We need everybody. We need everybody's voice. It's not going to be too many of us. Don't worry. Just come on.
That's the very same thing. Because once you get into like writerly circles, there's an intense competition that there doesn't have to be. We can all, if they told nothing but black women's stories or nothing but black stories all next year and that's all that's got published, it still wouldn't be enough. You can do that for 10 years and it still wouldn't be enough. So I always tell people that you write your story the way you can and don't let other people influence what you're trying to do for yourself. And then don't let the industry tell you what you can't write. There's an audience for everything you do, and you just have to find your audience. And your audience will love you, your audience will appreciate you, and you'll inspire somebody when you do the work that you're coming here to do without apology. So
Absolutely.
my road to this was a long and winding road. And one thing I didn't do is give up on my dream of doing this. So that's what I would tell everyone. Keep doing it. Find your audience. Love your words. Do what you do.
Yeah, and I think that's so important too because like you said, so many times, you know, we feel either we actually experience it or we just have this feeling that, oh my gosh, if I do this, then she can't do that. Or, you know, oh, there's not enough room. And there's clearly, like, there's always enough room for everybody.
There is. And I don't want to disparage people who actually have that feeling because it's real. Like, there will be people who will try to pit you against other people, and you can just politely decline, but it won't be that. I mean, it is true, like, especially if you're looking at Big Five Publishing, no shade to any Big Five publisher. I think I have a book with almost every one of them at this point, so there's like literally no shade. We're working through it. However, in an editor's meeting, they are literally having to be like, oh, I have this archetype person. Oh, we already have that archetype person coming out this season, da-da-da. But that doesn't have anything to do with us and our community. That has to do with their business, not us and our community. And so then those are two different things. But I don't want people to feel like, oh, no, it's just a lie. No, it definitely happens. We just don't have to let it be the only thing that happens. Mm-hmm.
And so it feels like a solution to this like problem, quote unquote, would be to have more of us in the bookstores, like more community bookstore type places, you know, where people can go. Because, you know, I think about Community Book Center, how it was like a writer's salon. Like, I feel like a lot of people have gotten their start over there as writers, you know, and just down on Bayou Road, and we thank them for hosting all this. But, you know, I feel like that's good to have, you know, our community together.
Agree.
Community Book Center is actually my favorite bookstore in the city. You feel at home. They make you feel included. They make you feel like a star. And everyone over there is so friendly and so great, and they're such champions of the arts.
Amen.
So we need that, you know, more and more now where AI is changing the way we consume literature and changing how we write. We need artists, and Community Book Center is a place for artists. It cultivates artists, and it cultivates the art. So I think it's important for us to help keep those independent bookstores in in commission. We can't give all the business. Barnes and Nobles, no shade to them or all of those people. They're billionaires. We need to support the spots in our community that support us.
Yeah. Amen. I remember when I'll go to community book center, I'll go and Mama Vera and Mama Jan will just say, hey, look, here's a book that you like. Oh, if you like this book, you might like that book. And then I always think about when my friend Jamie Attenberg, she told me about Sarah Broom's book about the Yellow House. She said, Sarah Ann Broom has this book coming out. It's called The Yellow House. You go to a bookstore like it's coming out, like pub day is tomorrow, so go get it. And I went to a big bookstore, and they had no idea what I was talking about. And I know, the only reason I went to a big bookstore was because I was in the area. To be clear, I was in the area. But I know that had I been at Community Book Center, I would have gone and she would have won and been excited. Because I was like, is the book not coming out? They had to literally open up the box of the books. They had no idea. And now look, National Book Award winner. Yeah. It's really good to have our own places. And I'm very, very thankful for that. One thing I will mention, I think is pretty cool about you, and actually about both of y'all, is that yes, you have this New Orleans experience, but also you have other experiences like, you from Clarksdale, and then you've lived in Paris.
I've lived
and
all
in
over the
Manhattan.
place, yeah.
So what is it that makes y'all think, there's something special about New Orleans, or something special about this communion, this meeting of New Orleans and Mississippi and Paris?
Right. So I always say there are people who have to live in New Orleans. Like there's a little bit of their soul that is missing if they're not in New Orleans. And there are people who love New Orleans, which is actually me. I don't have to live here. I love it here, but I don't have to live here. But respect to the people who feel incomplete when they're not, right? I did want to make sure that my children were from New Orleans. And so then when I had my children actually not in town, and I was like, yeah, we have to move home because they have to feel like this place is home to them. I don't want them to be expats somewhere. I want them to be from New Orleans. Like our culture is so unique. And I have a lot of appreciation for people who come in from outside and feel like New Orleans is home and want to stay. And I have even more appreciation for people who do that and also learn and become a part of the culture and not just co-opt and try to make the culture different or the culture the way that it is where they came from. So, yeah.
And Addie, there's something I was thinking about with you. So this is your first novel, which to me, I look at the novel, and you know how you look at something and you feel like, wait, this is going to be bigger than she thinks. I feel really good, really, really, really good about Dominion. And then I look at the back of Dominion, and I see all of these authors, amazing authors who we love right now, saying that they love the book. And then I saw that you've won so many contests. So how did you start? Were you like, I'm going to just do these contests, and then, how did it go? What was the plan, I guess? Did you plan?
Not really. I wrote this novel when I first moved to the city, and it had been sitting in my computer files for years actually.
Wow.
I shopped it around first, but it wasn't the right ending, so I didn't get the right kind of offers on it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I won FSG's inaugural Writer Fellowship program with the first 50 pages of it, and reworked the ending, and that's how it came to be. But it's also a novel that I think I've been writing since I was a kid. It's a novel about the church, but it's not of the church. Mm-hmm. It's not a church novel. It's about predators in our midst and how we enable them and how not to enable them. So yeah, the novel came from years of doing it. It just got published in a different way. But yeah, and it's been having a lot of success, and I took the long way because I'm almost 50 now, and so it is wild. It's something I've been wanting to do my entire life. It's just coming into fruition, but it still feels great.
Oh, congratulations on everything. There's a lot. Yeah. And then I guess, so both of y'all, so I know that Marti, you said you were a teacher. And
I was
that's
a
how
teacher
you
for
started.
13 years. Classroom teacher, yeah.
And
I
it's-
love it.
Yeah, and it's great too. I feel like a lot of people don't really respect children's books as they should, and like middle grade books. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No.
I feel like that's what I feel like people do that because they don't know that an actual teacher, has written them. And a lot of times it's not that. A lot of times it's just
point.
like, hey, I'm cool. Let me write a book, and it's like, do you know how to write for children?
Yeah.
Do you know children?
So that last
Yeah.
part, do you know children? Okay, cool. I think that a lot of people, because everybody has experience with, not everybody, but most people have experience with schooling, and people think of children as easy and not human and complex. And so then they think, oh, I can do an easy one. But it's writing a good picture book, I have never done it. It is so difficult. You have so few words. Like, you have to be really, really, really good at what you're doing to write a good picture book. It probably is easy to write a bad one, but I mean, do you want to write a bad one? Probably not. So, yes, so there, I definitely hear what you're saying, that people have had like a lot of experience. They don't necessarily have a strong memory of it, but they're like, I remember I was a kid. How hard could it be, right? So then they're going from that. I do write novels for children, because I'm long-winded, and so then, whatever. But, which I think when people realize that I write novels, they will give me an unnecessary, like, oh, okay, you write, oh, it's different. But it's really not. It's really about, like, respecting kids as human beings and wanting to tell their complex stories as the complex human beings that they are, especially for little black girls. Like, that's but, like, getting to tell, like, I have written so many different little black girls as the main characters of stories. They're all different because they're all different human beings. They've got different internal lives. Everything is different about them because we are as similar as we are. We're all different. We're all special snowflakes. There's a uniqueness that each of us brings to the table that has an opportunity there that I really see and have always enjoyed seeing. And it is the reason that I was a teacher, because I do have a strong appreciation for children and their humanity. And it's the same thing that I do carry over into being a writer.
Right. You want to add to that, or or just, I guess, writing in general? Like, do you ever feel like you're writing to? You said you started when you were a kid, so how did that work? Like, it was just always in your mind, like?
It was always in my mind. I was always, but I started off school in biology pre-medicine because everybody told me I wanted to be a doctor because I could do well on standardized tests. But that wasn't my lot in life. I went to college. I fell in love. I thought I was a poet when I fell in love. Then I fell out of love. And so I knew my first love was writing, and I knew I could go back to it. And I just took, I taught a little while. I worked at a bank. I took all kinds of like odd jobs to just pay the bills while I was doing what I was doing. And this novel came from a very specific need to tell people that we need to speak truth to power, that anybody who says they are just and they are moral and they are right in God's eyes, they bear scrutiny. Nobody should be beyond questions. And when you're beyond questions, you have an administration like we have now, that nobody will ask any questions and nobody will push back. So I want my novels to be, they are, traumatic in a way. They are hard in a way, but they are funny and they're uplifting. And in the end, you come off that these characters are going to be free of what tried to chain them. And so I think I poured that in, being a child in Mississippi and having such a strict upbringing. I poured my need for freedom into my work and I wanted these women to have a trajectory that women in my hometown didn't know. They didn't know to want to get free from under men. They didn't know to question the pastor, to question the deacon. And so I wrote a story where women question and women love hard and women understand that the man ain't always right. It's no such thing as submission when you're of greater intellect, So, yeah, the women find themselves, and that's what I wanted for women everywhere.
Gotcha. Okay, well, look, real quick, I want to just make sure that everybody knows how to follow both of y'all. And then also, just so y'all know, after this, they're both going to be signing books. You can buy your books here, and then you can get them signed right here. So I think both of y'all, all of y'all, should do that. And then I will start with you, Addie. How can people follow you online? Because I know you don't like online.
Terrible at online.
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Addie Citchens. I lost my old Instagram page, so I got a little small one. It's my name. And yeah, you can follow me. Dominion is over there. It's the Green Book, and it's about a pastor and his wife and how they're covering up the misdeeds of their son, who is a serial rapist, and now the shit has hit the fan. So they're trying to keep him out of trouble, but he's determined, he's hell-bent on getting back in trouble. And so it's the journey they take from the realization of this boy is not a angel, he's actually a reflection of the people around him. And
The pearls the audience just clutched. I don't know if you saw it, but they was like, what? Okay, yeah.
And then how can we follow you, Marti?
Okay, so I cannot promise you that I will post with any frequency. However, on pretty much every social media platform, my handle is Mom Teacher Writer. And this lady's son, who is a really good friend of mine, actually, he may not even realize that he made up that handle on that. But I'm Mom Teacher Writer, basically everywhere. So.
Gotcha. And then for me, I am online at Megan, M-E-G, on Instagram and Threads and all that. Megan, M-E-G-A-N, does, and then N-O-L-A. To be clear, I would never say NOLA out loud. That's disgusting. But I just can't say New Orleans. There's not enough characters in my screen name. And then also, I will say, I hope that y'all stay after to meet Naomi DeBerry. So Naomi DeBerry wrote a wonderful children's book as a child herself. She's a young lady now. It's called My Dad Needs a Gift. It's about her dad when he needed a new kidney. And so also really very exciting. She was a 2025, 2026 Time Magazine Girl of the Year. So y'all are meeting like a real star. And then also, before I leave, I also want to just again say thank you to everyone who's here, to Community Book Center, to everyone at Community Book Center, especially Mama Vera, especially Mama Jen, all the wonderful volunteers. And also, I personally want to thank one of my friend-tours, Kelly Harris DeBerry, the wife of one of my other friend-tours, Jarvis DeBerry. So again, we're all working together, and I'm excited. So, all right, thank y'all.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
y'all for having us. Thank y'all for being here.